Hey everybody, having a little bit of technical issue today. You probably heard me typing. Cannot figure out what I did wrong. I mean, it may not be me. There might be something. Somebody else wrote me when they streamed this weekend that they had a problem. So who knows? Hope everybody's doing well. I do not have the chats up. What a fool. I feel like I'm muted. I don't know why. I'm not hearing myself, so that's a problem. Huh. Oh wait, no, I wouldn't hear myself in the call. I'm a pinhead. Okay, so let me get the chats going here. Just got back from Dallas. We went to Texas Pinball Festival, which was really fun. And it's really just pinball, but it's really great. I think I get a message here. Gosh, guys, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't showing up on the front page, and I was trying to get that going. That's what all the typing is about, but it's supposedly up there. It was on this dashboard. It's funny, I am mostly on the Explore page on BGG nowadays. I go there, and then I jump off to the other things that I'm looking for. A lot of folks are the dashboard. Dashboard's great because it's the traditional front page of BGG. But we went to the show and we played a bunch of pinball machines, new stuff. Played a Portal game, which was just announced last week. That is it's a company called P3 Multimorphic. Don't know what they got. It seems like they have two names. But their machines are literally a pinball console where you have like a display as your play field, so it's underneath the play field, acrylic, I'm assuming. You change the game by putting in a module in the back end. So most of the time, the new stuff, besides the play field that changes constantly because it's display, the things that change in a game are all in the back end, like the back third. This new one, Portal, has ramps and spinners that poke out, which was really fun. I liked it. Scott did not like it so much. I think Nikki liked it. We played Evil Dead, which is very cool, but I guess it's already sold out. I mean, there's distributors or retailers that have them out there, but they do not have any more for sale, and I guess that's all they're doing. Which is too bad because it's really cool. Quite a fun game. Pretty gross, you know, it's Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 is, I can't remember, I think that it was more, I mean, I own the DVDs or Blu-rays, I think. And I think that it's the more gory of the two. The other one was gory, but then they didn't do, I guess they said that it could be a possibility. They didn't do, Army of Darkness, which I love. You know, that one's the real goofy one. But yeah, it was fun. We had a really good time, and it's 3 days, 2.5 days of really, well, not even that, because it doesn't start till 4 p.m. on Friday, and then it ends at 2 on Sunday. We were actually out the door a little early on Sunday. We went in to try to buy something. Scott wanted to buy a thing for his pinball machine, and it's lighting, really cool, but they don't have, they sold out. They have a new one coming anyway, a new design that's pretty awesome. I do have pinball. I have my pinball machine we have is the Munsters, and it is great. It's, you know, modern, stern stuff, and we play, there's a arcade, it's a restaurant, It's called AYCE Gogi. It's not far from us. We're here in San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, and they have 2 restaurants. And inside there they have it's called Full Tilt, I think. They have full-on pinball with 20 some machines at each location, 26 to 8 or something like that. They've expanded it sort of, and it's great. And it's 50 cents a play, $1 up to 75 cents for the brand new machines, but it's awesome. Thanks, InfoShark. But yeah, we had a really great time, and I would love to play more pinball. I mean, I love it. They actually have a really cool thing now, which all of us gamers, especially video gamers, are part of this. It's achievements and badges that you get. You get a special badge. So the way it works is I want Jurassic Park Shooter arcade game. Oh wow. Jurassic Park Pinball is phenomenal. I almost bought. We have friends that want to play, that want to get into it as well. It's not cheap. We bought our machine in 2019. We went. I'm sorry there. We go to this event in near Buffalo, New York, and they have a really cool arcade there called the Pocketeer, and they had just recently gotten the Munsters when we were there. They also had another great game that Nikki now loves called Black Knight's Auto Rage, which is the 3rd one in a series of those that have been done over the years. They were unloading that when we were there, but we played the Munsters, and I had gotten into it. So we met a friend who is a publisher, board game publisher, who had pinball machines. We went to visit him. I mean, I played pinball when I was young with my dad, but we went to visit him, and he had like 7 machines, and I'd never been to anybody's place that owned pinball machines. I was like, all of a sudden, like, oh, I suppose you could have a pinball machine. And so we played a modern one. He had a bunch of older machines. I don't remember. I feel terrible that I don't remember his machines. But he had the modern machine, which was probably only a couple years old, if that, at the time, because I feel like we went to visit them in 2015. Was AC/DC. And I like AC/DC, but I'm not, it's not like the top of my list, but it was pretty amazing. And I believe, so Stern has like several levels of machines. Pro is their most basic, which is pretty awesome. And I think that's what he had, because I don't remember a lower playfield. The Munsters has a little lower playfield that is Grandpa's Laboratory. So the Pro versions don't usually have something like that on there. It's a little bit less, toy rich. Then there's the Premium, which is what we have, and then there's an LE, which is very nicely done, back glass that's real glass with mirrorized back glass. They don't have that on the one we have. Those are quite expensive. They've gotten much more expensive since we got into it. I think when we bought our machine in 2019, it was $7,400 or $7,300, and the Premium, the LEs, were about $10,000. Now they're $13,000, and they're gorgeous. The nice, really nice ones are great. But anyway, so we had seen those machines, and we were just blown away. They also sell now. It's not cheap enough, in my opinion, but I mean, they're expensive. They have these home pins, and so I almost bought one at Jurassic Park home pin that was at Costco. It was like on sale already. Because it was after the holidays, and it was there, and the only one they had probably, or maybe they only ever had one. I don't know, because they're not exactly small boxes. And I thought about it for a little while. And I'm like, but $3,500 is quite a bit. But then it went down to. So we went back like a month later, and it was gone. I was like, great, they sold it. And then we're walking, and up against one of the walls, they had it, and it was $2,500. And I thought, gosh, because it's a fun machine. I played it there. And it actually has what they call, so I was telling you about achievements, they have what's called Insider Connected, and it's a QR code reader that they have an app, and so you get things like achievements for getting certain things in the game, making certain things happen, and then badges are often related to that stuff, but it's a limited time thing that you have. And so right now, this month, last year they had a I think it was last year, March Madness, where they had each state was competing against each other, which was kind of a weird one. This one was fun because every pinball machine that they have made over the past 10 or so years that has what they call Insider Connected. Well, actually, it's Stern machine. Insider Connected is it's called Spike 2 machines. Insider Connected is new. It came out like in 20 or 2021. And it is it's an app that you scan in, and then you will track whether your scores, all kinds of stuff. You can hook up with your friends and see what they've done. So we did that stuff. We got some of the badges. We have a friend that does the software for some of those machines, and we were trying to do one of the machines he did is Star Wars that came out probably 8 or 9 years ago, and I think they finally vaulted it, meaning they're not making any more in the near future. And the one that we were supposed to do is you're supposed to finish Lightsaber Duel. That's this week's limited run thing, and none of us got it, not even Dwight, who actually designed the game, but it was still fun. And that was the goal. So this month, the first week was relatively easy, and then they ramp up. They had 5 badges each week you just had to score a certain amount of points, millions of points, which some of the games that they have is impossible to do. I talked to him about it, and he's like, well, we want you to go on site. And I'm like, but if you don't have access to pinball nearby, I mean, I get it. It's a great way to get people into the stores. We go and try to, we went for like a Star Wars Day 1 last year or something like that, and got it. It's fun. I really like it. I think they're massive, big machines. That's the cool kind of thing about the home pins. Those are a little smaller. They're a little shorter, but it's full-on pinball. It's pretty neato. It would be a fun one to start with if you don't, especially if you get it for like $2,500. I probably should have bought that, but I just didn't want to think about moving it home. So we got our machine delivered. We bought it from a distributor here in Southern California, and they were great. Came in and they said that they didn't install it. They wouldn't install it, but they came in because we don't live in a 2-story house. I think that's the fear, is that they're going to have to deal with getting your pinball machine down or upstairs and stuff like that, so they don't promise to do that. But they're great, got it all set up for us. But they have firmware, it is firmware, but it's code updates that, it's not firmware, it's code updates that run the game. We played the new D&D game, which is amazing. They're thinking of having it be at BGG Con Spring, or, this is it may not happen, but it would be awesome because it's a very good game. It's, it actually has like D&D stats and things like in it, but man, it was cool. I sure hope that happens. But what other things do we play? They have some homebrews, meaning machines that people make their own. And one of the ones we played was Mad Max, and it was all done by the guy. The art is pretty good, not amazing. But you can't do it all. He's an engineer. He's obviously capable of engineering and coding. But it still looked good. It looked really good. Backglass was great, and it didn't look terrible at all. But you see some of these machines, and they're super polished. There was another one called The Greatest Showman, which is based on the movie that I guess is peripherally about. It's sort of about P.T. Barnum. I don't know. I never saw the movie. But a couple did that, husband and wife. And she did the coding, and he did the game. And that one was not a completely from scratch game. It was using a previous game called Whirlwind. But holy cow, it was beautiful. Looked like a production machine. And then Scott has a couple pinball machines, and he had bought one from a guy that he met through what the Board Game Geek of Pinball called Pinside. And he last year had a game, refurbishment, like they cleaned it all up and upgraded it for Whitewater. That was amazing and beautiful. And this year he did Dracula, which is the one for Bram Stoker's Dracula that Francis Ford Coppola did the movie. But the backglass was not because it was different back glass. The original, I think, has Gary Oldman, you know, as Dracula. But it was amazing. Beautiful machine. He just finished it. He was like, said he was soldering on Wednesday. And then he sold it. So for a lot of dough. Pretty awesome. Hey, Circe. Oh, Jaipur is really good. Really, really good and fast. There's an app for that one out there that's quite good, Nikki, and it's a pass and play, and Nikki and I, like on airplanes, will play that one. Really good game. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm going to get to painting. Let's see here. A lot of chatting, but the pinball was awesome. It's really, really worth it. If you're into it, there's a festival, a show called Pinball Expo in Chicago in October that we might go to. It's hard because, you know, we have Spiel this year after TPF, Pinball Expo, and then we have BGG Con. So it's a challenge. We would like to go. There's a bunch of manufacturers in the vicinity, so there's tours and stuff like that we would love to do. It starts early. I think, you know, those types of things start on Tuesday. I'm a little bit tired if you can't tell. We came in. Our flight was not busy, but it's so bizarre. We came in and it was not a super late flight. We arrived at 9, but the airport was like empty. They were already clearing out our side. So I usually, like, when we fly in, that plane will then fly onto something like San Jose or something, but they did not. It was where it was for the night. But it was great. I had a good time, hung out with Scott and Michelle, which was really fun. And overindulged, but really good food. We went to it's not a steakhouse, although they do have steaks, but it is known for their pork chop. And I was wondering what the heck that was last year when we first went, and I had it this time. I had it that time and ate it by myself. I did not finish it. I think I did bring it back to the room, but didn't finish it. You know, it's always terrible to try to eat something like that on a trip. But holy cow, it was great. And it's very big. And this time we split it. Nikki and I split a salad in that, and we were able to. I don't know if she finished her half, but it was definitely more achievable. And it's amazing, so good. And it was fun hanging out with some friends and having dinner. Nikki was not feeling well, so they have like a thing on Saturday night that's for people that work the show and people that I would imagine people that are in the tournaments. A friend of ours who I actually met through streaming one morning, I mentioned the Foo Fighters pinball machine, and he's like, "What? You're into pinball?" And so we met him at our first TPF in 2023. He won the tournament this year. So he's now going to be in a national tournament too. I mean, he's a great player. You know, I mean, he's not so great that we can't play, you know, that they're constantly playing, but he is great. I mean, you know, I also think he's probably trying to be nice to us, because he really is a great player. And it was very exciting to hear, because he was in the final 8 or something like that, and we were hoping for him. You know, we barely saw him. We saw him at the after hours thing. I'm sorry, steered away from that. So after hours, they do it. They close the place down a little bit early on Saturday night, and then they open it back up for another couple hours, and you get to play. Just nobody's selling anything, but you just get to play, and it's phenomenal because vendors come and they bring their new pinball machines. Attendees bring their pinball machines, and they get free entry into the event. And I was talking to a fellow at the end of the evening. I played another game called Merlin's Arcade, which is very preliminary. It's a very early code, but I had a real fun time with it. I thought it was real neat looking. And I was talking to I was gonna play it a second time at the end of the night, and I was talking to an older guy who was older. I'm getting old, so whatever. But anyway, he was saying that he really liked the thing, and he asked which machine I brought. I'm like, oh no, I'm here with the event organizers and kind of with Stern, and so. But he brought the machine. He loved that he was able to play the games, and it wasn't crazy. But that we were playing kind of a new technology pinball machine where everything is. So on the modern machines, it's basically a bunch of computer boards inside, underneath the playfield that control the physical elements or the lighting and, you know, the way the rules work in the game. And the way they do it on this new one is it's one giant board that basically handles all the wiring. Because, you know, there's all the way through, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's less insane now, sort of, not really, because there's a lot of stuff to control. But now they just have controls, wires that come off the PCB board to the PCB to go into the components like the solenoids or, you know, active actuators and the sensors and things like that. It was amazing. It was really, really cool. And so they showed that machine. They also show the way the glass works is you unclip the thing and then you just tilt it up and pull the thing off, and it's all, the glass is inside that frame, and that's really cool too. It's a lot of neat technology. They're doing games that are not based on IP. Most of the games nowadays are based on, obviously, D&D and Evil Dead and Portal. Portal's really cool. I would like to play that more. I like the idea of those machines, but this one, I think it's, if you want the full Portal experience, it's like $5,500 add-on module. You could buy the whole thing, I think, for $11,500 or something like that, $1,200 right now, and then you could use that same machine. It's decorated for Portal, but you can put in, last year's game was Princess Bride, and they had another one called Final Resistance, maybe, which is amazing too. And that was available. You know, it was. Those were still on display. They had those machines. Only had one Princess Bride, but you could go and play those. And they did a thing our first year, I think, when we went. We went to a lot of the panels, and they had a guy change out one of the modules in a couple of minutes. So it's pretty amazing. But you have to store that. It's not small, and you'd have to store that because, you know, it's like a whole bunch of mechanical stuff crammed into the back end. So I think it's probably much deeper than a standard pinball machine, you know, component level type stuff. But they have like, so the neat thing about their system is it's loaded with like 20 balls, and they have this like this delivery system where the balls can come out. And so for Portal, you would have it disappear and then pop out someplace else like it went through a portal. It was really awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, well, let's cut to the lower cam. I think I've got, let me make sure I'm in the right window. There we go. So I was working, I finished, I can't remember if I finished it on the stream, but I finished, let's get that out of the way and see if it'll focus. It doesn't see, somebody was telling me I'm too close, but I think that I need to be kind of close. Anyway, I finished Ghost Rider. I don't know if I put varnish on them yet. So I did 3 of them. They look pretty good. I'm real happy with them. Which one is the one that's Scott's? Scott he didn't do all of them, but he primered his with a rattle can, you know, with paint, spray paint, and it looks really good. I kind of feel like it's the best one. That's this one here. You know, it's brighter. You don't have as much shading, but like a lot of the shading is done by these speed paints, contrast paints. I use mostly contrast paints, but I also have speed paints, and I sometimes use the names interchangeably. And then I mostly finish Yondu. I'm very happy. Scott had done his own, so this is my friend's and mine. I am very happy with this guy's eyes. This one, which is mine, I usually give myself the one that is not so great, is not quite as good. And then afterwards, I worked on Rhino. These are the 2 I'm going to work a little bit on today. This is the one that Scott's was rattle can. You can tell, like, it's very white on the base. I also had to hand paint his face a little bit because, you know, it's very weird space, and you're trying to spray minis, right? You know, with a spray can. So I painted it white so that I can do it justice here today. So you can kind of see, though, you lose some of the detail with the rattle cans. Now, I have one here somewhere. I've not used this one. This one they sent to me. It was very nice of them. They sent me, this is nearly 2 years ago, I think now. Their recently released second wave of this contrast paints, and there's, this was Citadel and Games Workshop. They sent me the shades and the second wave of contrast paints, plus this. I haven't used it yet, but I have used this stuff before, and it is very good. It goes on pretty smooth. This was like Krylon or something, or Rust-Oleum on this one, and you lose a little bit of detail, but it's not terrible. And I feel like if you just get the right, it could have been temperature, and you know, Scott says it's hard to do it that way, and I'm like, yeah, it's not easy to do, you know, like he wasn't able to get the color in there. But there was actually some red poking through, and you could see some of it there. Well, there too. But it doesn't look bad at all, right? It's in the shadows, so I think I'm a little too close here. But they're turning out cool, and they look great. So yeah, we'll do the face. I'll probably put a little bit more shading on the base here and maybe try to darken that up so it's not just red. But he looks cool, and I think every method is fine. Do I have a dry brush? I have the dry brushed Black Widow here. So what I do, I might as well, I always explain it every time, but that's not everybody's here. Well, here we go. This is Squirrel Girl. She's okay, but I airbrush this one. I tend to cheat the faces, so I mean, I absolutely do. I put as much as I can on the face to try to make it not look, you'll see, I don't have mine out here, but maybe I have it right here. Yeah, she's right here. She's a little dark on this one, and it's not a problem. I'm happy with this, but, oops. Well, you can see, so I airbrushed this, and it was too dark, so I hand painted. It's not great. That was the one thing that was bad, but I dry brushed her. Oh yeah, that's right, I dry brushed it, so it wasn't very strong. I didn't airbrush it. This one here, I didn't get enough paint on her face. This one will be brighter, but she looks great. I mean, I totally love it. I will tell you, so I have had to now sculpt 2 ears for Squirrel Girl. So this is Friends. How is that even possible? What one broke? Or maybe this is it. I think this is. I think I sculpted this ear out of a piece of plastic. I sculpted this ear out of a piece of plastic. I think the only one that's actually okay is Scott's. And Scott's, when we shipped them to me, a bunch of them got broken. Yeah, this one's fine. So you'll be able to tell the difference. They're not perfect. Here's the first one I did. It looks pretty close. And then this one here. So I think I pinned these. I basically drilled a hole into the head and then cut a piece of paper clip and glued it in there, and then glued the ear on, and then I sculpted it mostly, and then I finished it off on the thing. But they look pretty good. I don't want to have to do. Clearly, this is a very delicate piece in the way it goes in the frame, because it was missing on mine and the one that my friends that I'm doing. It was missing, like, not even the piece inside the box that I could just glue it on. I'm very delicately protecting this one that actually made it on its own, but I've had now 2 of them break, and they look good. They both look fine. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm done. I finished, well, other than the varnishing of all of my Wave 1 stuff now. I need to do, I'm going to try to do Marvel United Multiverse. I saw the mat. We went to Common Ground in Dallas, great store. They have a lot of, the guy who does the buying knows the stuff and buys lots of Kickstarter stuff, and he buys that Marvel United stuff. And they had the mat, and I almost won. I already have the second Waves mat. I didn't buy the first one because I figured it wasn't going to fit on our table very well, and it turns out it fits pretty well. And then with the one we bought was nice because they stitched the edges and stuff, and it was really nice. And so I almost bought the other one, which doesn't actually have spots for the cards. I think it has a little notch, like a little outline at like the top edge of the card, and that's actually probably that's kind of one reason why I want it. It's very easy to lift off of that, right? Because it's just the mat lifts it off the table, but you can just press down on the, because you know there's neoprene mats. You can press down it and pop it up. But I was kind of tempted. There's $40 there. They had it for $30 on Amazon for a little while, but not anymore. It's boxed very nicely, so there may be more will come out for retail. Anywho, let's get back to this. Factory figs. It's absolutely true, Opal. Too many figures. I have way too many to paint. I am happy to hear. Doesn't mean he won't get them, but my friend who I'm doing his minis for did not back the DC United, so that's a good, I don't know how many figures, 100 at least, that I don't have to paint necessarily. We'll see though. I still have a tremendous amount of X-Men to do and all of the Marvel, all the multiverse ones to do, Wave 3s, so it's terrible, too much, but I'm having fun. I really do like doing it. And I wish I had more time. That's the big challenge. I just don't have enough time. So let me do a little bit of dark on that back of that. Choppy? My audio's choppy? Oh, the video's choppy. Okay, let me see here. Let me go on one of the streams and look real quick here. I did have the cameras on early, so it could be related to that. I hope I don't have to shut them down. I see there. Let me see my hand moving around. It's such a delay, I don't know. It is choppy. I wonder if it's, I don't see anything on our end, so maybe the stream's got problems? Let me look here. This is exciting, isn't it? Well, I'll do my best. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to stop the stream. I'll move less, so maybe it won't be so bad. It's weird. It looks perfect on our end, so I wonder if we're having like a network problem. We haven't been home for a week, so let me change glasses. I can't really see this close. It's weird. Usually we have a problem with the audio, though. Okay, well, I'm watching here for a moment. I shouldn't actually have it running. It seems like there's a pretty good delay here, too. Yeah, the audio is good. It's weird. Well, the other audio that'll be choppy is the stuff from Epidemic. It's not great. I mean, I love the stuff that they have, but it doesn't work great for us necessarily. So let's see here. I wish I had Derek. He knows how to maybe fix this. But I don't want to kill the stream. Anyway, hopefully it's not. You say it's really choppy. Okay, well, crud. I don't know. I'm paused on that one. Let me go to the other thing here, YouTube. Well, you're on YouTube, Opal, so, Let me look at it. I do not want to hear this. Do not want to hear myself. Yeah, it's pretty choppy there. I wonder if it's... I don't know what to do. If Derek happens to be looking, he might try to fix it. I don't know. I don't know what he does. I really don't want to stop it because it's such a pain in the rear end. Anyway, let me... wow, that's from hours ago, or not hours ago, a while ago. I'm in the stream here. Anyway, let me get going because I'll do my best. And I'll move slowly. Let me get the flesh tone that I'm going to use. And I really don't want this camera running here, though. It's distracting for me. No, it's okay, Opal. That's totally fine. I would love to get it figured out. I don't know the little tricks to do what we do when we're streaming live. I mean, had I caught it, I could have just redone the stream before we even got going, but I did not. Okay. We were supposed to... So Eric put out a video 2 weeks ago of covering Free Ride, a game from Free Ride USA from Freedom and Freeze, which we... I really liked the first game. Only played it like twice. But it was not super clear. So I'm going to use some of the Gilliman flesh. It was not super clear where things were because, you know, I don't know European cities that well. I mean, not terrible, but I certainly don't know a lot of the smaller ones type of thing. And this new version is US, which, okay, I know the city's better, mostly, I guess all of them. And it has, it's color coded. So the areas are color coded. It's massive. There were some tricks some people did where they used dice, which I don't even understand. I had 2 people explain it to me, but you know, not while I'm actually really paying attention. I'm trying to understand what they're saying, but somebody's saying that it's still helpful, but I didn't have a problem understanding. I think they were, on one of Eric's videos, they commented about it like being clear who you like attacking or something. I don't know. So he did that one 2 weeks ago, and I was going to put that episode, our episode, out with Dave, and I was like, oh, I will wait. And then I look today when I'm getting ready, you know, or last night as I'm preparing to get back to work, and I'm like, oh crud, he put out a playthrough video of Free Ride. So it's a solo playthrough. You might as well go check it out. I'm probably going to still put ours out. I don't know. I don't like stacking it that much. I like there to be some variety on what we do, but because, you know, we do this, we did a video of fromage around the time that Jamie did her fromage. I don't remember which one of us did it first, but it's okay. I mean, people, generally we're picking games that we're excited about, so it's going to be a mix of things all the time. But it was definitely, oh, you know what? I need to put in the contrast medium first. I'm almost out of my second bottle of contrast medium, but this is my second bottle of contrast medium in 5.5 years. I'll give me the benefit. Third, almost 5.75 years. It's amazing. It actually goes. The paints go a long way. I suppose if you're really, truly a fast painter and doing a ton of stuff, you probably will burn through it more quickly than I do. But the stuff lasts a long time. See, that's too much. Right there, I know that's too much because I'm not going to paint that much face. So yeah, he apologized. I don't put our stuff in there because it's mostly, we generally are changing it based on, well, things like this, what's going to happen with our other, you know, shows that we have on the channel and things like that. Also availability. I waited. I actually wanted to do Free Ride a while ago, but I wanted it to be available in the US, and it's been available, I think, for a little over a month or so now. And so, you know, I want people to be able to buy it. I'm not certain that it's actually that available on Amazon, though. Yeah, I think it's on Miniature Market, probably. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. Maybe it was a drop. It might not have been enough of the contrast medium. Let me look here. It's too dark. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I don't even know, you know. It doesn't, the ethnicity stuff does not matter to me. I definitely like to try to get them accurate. You know, I loved the characters from the Black Panther. Okoye is one of my favorite minis, and that I've done so far in these, and Shuri is great too. Really, really great sculpt. Anyway, I smell alcohol. Yeesh. So let's put a little bit in here and see if we can fit it out. It'll be too much flesh color. It's fine. It is a tiny amount, you know, literally a drop of the color and a couple drops of the medium. Yeah, we had a great time. It was really nice. It's, you know, it's one where we really kind of get away because there's no board games related to it. Usually we travel and go to conventions for board. I mean, that's really what we travel for, is to, what is going on with my finger here? Did I get glue on it or something? I mean, I know the alcohol, but it seems like it's bleached out. But yeah, we usually go for board games. So, I mean, we're going to be leaving in 3 weeks to go to another event that is board games. That's very pink. That's the interesting about this flesh color. So this is Gilliman flesh. It is one of the contrast paints from Great Games Workshop / Citadel. And I use it for all of the humanoid kind of flesh. I used it on Nick Fury, Okoye, Black Panther, America Chavez. I mean, it's amazing. You just need to use the... I actually did not like it when I first... hey, it looks like the paint chipped away. This is a bummer. That's the thing about the rattle can that's challenging. You got to be cautious, and I'm going to be putting a lot of varnish on these to try to protect them. He didn't... His at home are painted the same way, Scott's. Wow, it really doesn't look great. So I won't have to worry about the ones that I will be priming. But they won't look exactly the same. I don't want to rattle can them. I don't like using that stuff. I don't like the fumes. I mean, I wear a mask, but it's just too much for me. But anyway, I like acrylic paints. It's absolutely more forgiving. I don't have to use solvents. Just water is the solvent, you know. I really don't like using solvents. I mean, I never did. I painted, when I was in college, I painted oil paintings. And it was doable. You know, it's way better than like rattle can or spray can paints, because it's not, you know, it gets everywhere when you're doing the spray cans. Yeah, the downer is this. The YouTube one will be the one that, I wonder if the other one's bad too. But the YouTube is the one that goes to, yeah, look at, see, I got this white stuff going on here. Maybe I need some lotion. Let me check real quick. So when we stream this stuff on Twitch, we also stream it on, so they save it. They'll save your VODs for a little while on Twitch, but not, they're changing the way they do it too. They're not going to store them as long. And they only go for a couple months. So we used to download them as soon as, if we were on it, and guaranteed I wasn't always on it. And then I would upload them to YouTube. Well, now, since we're streaming on YouTube, it goes automatically up. And it's live that day, which is really cool. And it means I don't mess it up. That looks pretty good. So it's a little, it's okay, right? So what you want is a little bit of the pooling of it to give it, I actually shouldn't touch it now, it's kind of gelling already. But you want to wick up any large pools of the color so that it doesn't look like you spilled something on it, you know, coffee stains or whatever. There was something else they call it that I've seen on videos recently. Oh, this one looks better now, it's drying. But yeah, I would like them to look consistent, but I just can't rattle can these. And I'm sure, Scott, he said to me when I was talking about it, he's like, you know, I don't care, you can do what you want on these. I'm like, no, I just want to try to do a good job on them. I mean, he wants them to look nice, but he's not too worried about it, because what happened was when these got shipped here, they got dinged up, and the ones that were primed. Actually, I had some that broke too that I had to fix, but that's fine. It's not fun, but it's okay. And oh, you know what? There's not enough water in this wet palette. This is the crazy thing. So this wet palette has been sitting in the refrigerator. There's a hair for more than a week, and it's still no mildew. Very nice. Now I just pulled that off, so it's not going to have the effect of the capillary action to pull the water through the palette as easily, the paper. Man, it's buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. I think I'm okay. Okay, so a little bit of liquid. Yeah, Nikki wasn't feeling great. She overdid it on Saturday, I think. We went to a place called Rodeo Goat that was actually quite good. It was a burger place, but she wasn't feeling swell on Saturday, so she skipped out on the after hours playing, and she was bummed because she really likes being able to get to play the stuff. So that was a downer. You put these little weights back in here. Excuse me. Sorry, let me get a drink here. Hey, Scott. It is Lincoln. He's trying to paint. Get it together. Yeah, I really wonder what happened here. I bet you the alcohol just stripped the oil out of my finger. It's not really good to handle it. That looks cool. So let's paint a little bit of dark on the base. I mixed that up, but I don't think I'm at the very bottom of this bottle. This is the first bottle of the Basilicanum Gray. Oh, awesome. Neurodivergent board gamer. You did use the LH Totally Awesome. Isn't that great? And it's not really horrible. Like, I don't feel chemically it's that awful. You do have to clean the heck out of it once you've done that. But it really does work if you want to strip minis. I actually had one where I didn't completely clean it correctly, and I had to do it again because it was, when I put the primer on, you could tell it was a problem. So I just use a toothbrush to clean it off, and then it'll strip pretty much anything off, especially since if you're just using acrylics, which is what you should use, you can get away with using the Totally Awesome. I mean, here's how crazy it was. Back in the day, I used brake fluid to strip minis. This is what they recommended, and I used it, and holy cow, I really, talk about solvents and stuff. I hated dealing with that. I was very happy to find other solutions. But yeah, brake fluid, yuck. I guess it wasn't as hard, and it stripped plastic too. I can't remember if I kind of think I had the feeling that they were a little softer after that, but I could be wrong. Very different time in plastics for miniatures at that point, anyway. Yeah, isn't that great? And it's easy to get that, like inexpensive. I think I got it for like $1.25 at the dollar store or something like that, and it's a large bottle. I've not used it that many times. Is it still sitting here? It should be here somewhere. Excellent solution, and it's not terrible. Hey, look, there's paint. What if that's what I'm getting on my hand? Oh, you know what? I got distracted. I was going to fix that part on his that chipped off here. That was why I was getting the white paint. I was getting water to do it, and talked about the palette. Distractions. It really did chip it. And this paint, I actually saw it at Scott's, is like supposedly especially good for plastics, but maybe not this small. That looks fine there. Okay. I think he's ready for some more face color. Now I had fixed it, like I said, I had was not applied very thick paint here, the primer. And so I put a little bit on this morning to, and hopefully give it enough drying time. I don't like to paint over white that quickly. Let's see if I can get it so you can see this, it's not out of focus. And it tends to like get milky. It's very strange how quickly it has a problem. And so I definitely want to wait as long as I can after putting on white. Now the primer is better. And I could hand paint on the primer. It's pretty great. I use the Stynylrez. I would like to try some of the other brands, but I don't think I will be ever finished with these bottles of paint. I bought large ones thinking, oh, I'm going to be priming all the time. It's a mess. It'll be so much paint. It is not. The largest amount of paint I've used is the black. And I will show you where it's at here, because I'll tilt it and you won't be able to see it. But this is the bottle. I've used 1/3 of the bottle, and I've used a lot of black. The white and the gray, I've used more gray than I've used white, but I will be using this stuff for a long time. I might get through to black at some point in time, but I bet the white and the gray I'll never get through. And the ones I want to try are the white ones in particular, because I'm not 100% satisfied with the intensity of the white. Like here's one, as I said, I focused on giving her a little bit more on her face and stuff, and it still looks gray to me. I used this paint in Germany, Vallejo GameNight color, Dead White. Now this is not a specifically designed for airbrush paint, but you can absolutely use it with it. I used it on the vampires that I had done, the Crimson Court, I think is what their name is. And, you know, much smaller. So I don't really know if it was better, but it sure was great when I airbrushed on it. So I was like, I got to get this. And so I bought a couple bottles of it, and I'll use it. But when I primed Yondu, I had a little speckly stuff. Now, generally, that's probably my mix of, you know, how thin down I got it, potentially how, really the eyes look so good on this one. You know, a couple of factors. So I just need to fiddle with it more. I had no problem with it though in Germany. So I think I can't remember what kind of compressor Sebastian has. It's not a great one. It's not terrible, but it's not like super high pressure or anything like that. But I will have to play with it and see if I can get it to work better. Anywho. Well, let's put a little bit of white. So my palette it's been sitting a long time, and the palette paper is not quite great anymore. So I'm going to continue to use it today, but I will swap it out tonight or today. I don't know if I'm going to get to paint anymore today. I sure hope so, but I have a lot of stuff to do. I have to get this week's episode done, and I am not 100% certain what we're going to do. I might skip it and do Free Ride next week. Really like the game though. Okay, let's do the teeth. Maybe too white. He's got his tongue poking through there. I don't know if I did that on the one I painted for myself. I did. Cool. I think I need a wash on this armor. And I don't, did I do it on this one? I don't think so. I think it's just more pronounced, the paint. But But I think maybe I'll just edge, you know, do it along the edge to darken it up a little bit. I probably will come back and do a little bit of highlights here on his flesh. Let's see if I can do something right now. Because these little bumps. Okay. So I don't think I used a darker pigment on the previous eyes that I've done. Because it felt like the skin was the right thing, but I now mostly am doing a dark ring before I do the whites of the eyes. I say confidently, we'll see how it goes when I actually paint it on. It's a very tiny brush. I don't normally use this size. I do have a few of them though. So I think I want to do this instead of a wash, because I only need it to just show off a little bit more of the detail. Knockdown rhino. But the D&D machine is really awesome. It has Matt Mercer, who's part of Critical Role, which is really awesome. They have Kevin Smith. They had Gerard Way from comic book stuff, but also from My Chemical Romance. They had Michael Dorn doing the dragon, which is really great. It's a really cool machine. And it's very new. So the way the code works is it comes out and it's pretty immature, you know, and it builds up. This one I felt, we played it with Brian and Tashi at... Hey, thanks for the raid. Oh, wait, Arcade Studio. Audio sounded terrible there. Hey, everybody, thanks for the raid. Arcade Studio, what were you guys doing on that channel? I am Paint. Hey, thanks for the follow. Iris Prosperity. I'm painting Marvel United minis today. Right now I'm working on Rhino. He's turning out pretty cool. I don't know if that's dark enough. I mean, I thinned it out, so it probably isn't dark enough. Let's put a little bit more on his eyes. I was really meaning for that to be like the whole thing for both the base but I don't think I made it dark enough. But let's see how we go here. Okay, I definitely want this to be a little less red. We'll see if I can do it without having to just put white on it or dark paint on it. Hey, thanks for the follow, Arcade Studio, and thanks for the raid. Okay, let's do his eyes as well. I usually use a larger brush. This isn't even as big as I normally use. I'm going to touch that where it's on the bottom. I'm excited. So what I would like to try to do is get through at least some of the Marvel United multiverse ones, because I want to do it on the show. We did it a few years ago. Hey, thanks so much. We did it a few years ago, and I'd like to do some of the new stuff, especially since I've painted many, many more minis now since we played that. I did show them on this. I think we played them on the stream, and somebody's like, "You need to show those." Hey, Steph. How you doing, Steph? Did you see some of the pictures from TPF that Scott took? That is very dark, and it's messed up my white, but that's okay. I should have done I didn't realize it was a tongue until I started to paint the white, so. We had a great time at the con, though. Okay, got to paint all that white. Many minis, it's true. There's some great... The Portal pinball machine stuff was really awesome. Scott didn't love it, but I thought it was great. Oh, the cool thing about that one I was telling you guys earlier about Merlin's Arcade is that's actually a pretty inexpensive machine. Now, they had a machine that people liked a lot last year called Ninja Eclipse. Nikki actually really liked that machine. I did not dislike it, but I didn't really know it, right? I didn't, oh wow, this is terrible. The bottle is really coming out. But they had that on display as well. And it's cool. I think this is too dark. Whatever. He's angry. He's got a lot of blood rushing to his tongue. And the D&D was awesome. Really loved that game. Really loved the Evil Dead. That was amazing. They had a really fun playfield thing where you load the shotgun. So you hit the shells and it pushes it in. And it was great. And I actually there's a multi-ball you can do, I think up to 4 balls on it for that. And maybe if you just wait, like decide not to activate it yet, I don't know. But I had a 2-ball multi-ball with them. It loads, so there's 2 shooter lanes, and the 2 balls load up, and then they both plunge out for the multi-ball. It was really awesome. I don't think they actually had a plunger. I think that was a button on that machine, which I know it's a button because you shoot both of them at the same time out of the... I like plungers. Scott really likes plungers. I like trying to do the skill shot stuff, and that you really can only do that with a plunger. Purple tongue. Doesn't look too bad. No paint. Texas does love their pinball. There's definitely more arcades in Dallas area than we have nearby. Now there's some great ones here, but not a lot. We have been to 1, 2, 3 or 4 pretty phenomenal, actually more than that, because we went to a bowling alley that had a bunch of pinball, like a pretty high-end bowling alley kind of experience with arcade games and stuff like that, and kind of not necessarily escape rooms, but kind of activity stuff that was really amazing. And we just went there to play pinball. They had machines that I wanted to play. So there's an old machine, not that old, from like 2016 of Aerosmith, and it's a fun game, and I really wanted to play it, and they had one. Not in great shape. That was the downer about that place. Is, you know, pinball's a lot harder than video games to care for, and so it needed some of the machines. They had a Ghostbusters machine, which is another fun one, and they just had problems with them, and it was kind of a bummer. But that's one of the cool things about Insider Connected, is you can find machines locally. There's also a thing called pinballmap.com, or pinball, I think it's Pinball Map, that tells you it's driven by the community, or the vendor, the location people can add the machines that they have there too. But they also let you know if machines are down and stuff, which is great. I don't know whether we saw that or not for that one location. So the big adult, I don't know about that. Austin one's supposed to be great too. The ones that are phenomenal in Dallas, we went to 2 of the same ones, is Cidercade, which has, you know, they make their own cider, and there's some, maybe even in Austin, there's definitely around Texas. But we went to 2 of them in the area there. And then there's the 8-bit guy. We did not go. Scott's like, I'll go with you, but we just didn't have the time. There's their hours are, it wouldn't have been a problem because we got there on Monday and left on Monday, so it probably was closed on the days that we were traveling or whatever. But the 8-bit guy on YouTube has it on arcade now with a bunch of video games and pinball. Very cool stuff. But I didn't go, so when I wasn't really like, I don't even know how much it was going on at the time we went, because I haven't been to Austin since I don't remember. Gosh, it could have been 12 years ago. We went to South by Southwest. Gosh, I don't remember. It's been a long time. Actually, it was when Tabletop was still going, because we shared a booth with them. And none of the people showed up, which was fine. They had, one of their producers was there. But you know how it is. Traveling is tough. And convention stuff can be a bit of a challenge. But we had a great time. So Houston has a big con too, a pinball con. I don't know where that one's at. One of the things we saw said the biggest, I feel like it was this, biggest in northern Texas. Maybe it was the festival. Wow, that is terrible. That black is not working. It also might be the undercoat. Significantly less dancing on the streams. Yes, that's true. I would be out of frame very quickly. Let's see here. I need to mix this maybe to get it better, the black going. Oof. I mean, this paint's been sitting. You really don't want to reuse paint. But I'm looking for a tiny dot of black, so. Let me paint the white again. I just put paint back where I just cleaned it off. This is terrible. There's a funny short of Nick Murphy painting eyes. He was doing Doctor Strange, and it's so true. I mean, there are people, I was watching, one guy I like to watch, and he was saying, you know, I've redid the eyes several times here. It's not easy. And, you know, these are large. If you're doing this on, for example, here, look at this face comparatively. This face versus this face. I mean, you can be satisfied with less than stellar results on the tiny faces. And I'm not good at painting faces. I'm okay. Sub-okay. We played a new game while we were in Dallas, though. Twice. We're probably going to do it on the show soon. Called Faith. Or Fate, excuse me. Dang it, it just did it again. This is terrible. Maybe I gotta wait longer for the white, but it's the tiniest amount. Or maybe it's just the paint is terrible. The black could be awful. I probably should try to get a fresh dollop of it. Yeah, the Portal game, I would love to play that more. I'd actually love to try to have one of those machines, but it's a couple $1,000s per add-on module. Now, the really great thing is it takes up one space. But Nikki was not blown away with the previous ones. This was the first one that she felt like it was actually kind of pinball. And that's part of it, part of the, how it extends over the playfield. The Weird Al one was like the first one that put them on my radar, and that was fun. I played that one I think 2 years ago, and it had been out for a little while, I think, already, when it was at TPF. I don't think it might have been the new machine. Maybe it had been out for like 6 months. I don't pay as much attention to all that stuff. I don't really, number one, I'm not gonna buy all those machines. They're so expensive. And I'm also not the kind of guy to